artisans, and businesses who continue to shape the narrative of homegrown excellence. This is Ghana's biggest trade fair and exhibition, bringing together SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing sectors, indigenous corporate bodies, and local creatives in one exciting space. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025. Come explore, engage, and be inspired by the businesses and brands that are redefining Made in Ghana across every sector. Get ready to be thrilled by live performances from Kwampa and the electrifying Inchin Band, adding music, rhythm, and culture to the celebration. The dates: Saturday the 6th and Sunday the 7th of September 2025. Time is 10 a.m. through to 5 p.m. each day. The venue is the A4 Sutherland Children's Park. For inquiries or participation details, call us on 0205 973 973. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by MTN, EcoBank, Side Hustle by EK Brand Consult, Ghana Enterprises Agency, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Ghana Exim Bank, and AVV Rise, and is supported by Twillium Industrial Company Limited and Build Financial Technologies.
Let's get into the world of sports like never before.
You know how we do it on Fridays.
Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 City FM for Sports Panorama, your ultimate destination for all things sports.
One of the biggest scandals in this country's history. Yeah. You can't spend 250 million USD and come out with that.
From the thrill of association football to the excitement of basketball, tennis, athletics, and even emerging sports, we cover it all. Whether it's the Premier League or the latest NBA showdown, we bring you the stories behind the stars.
Getting an opportunity to become a national team coach, you should understand the politics around football.
And don't miss the prayer of the
Hello, welcome to What the Papers Are Saying. Thank you for making time to join us for another edition where we look at the big stories for the week. It's been an eventful week. When I come back from this short break, I'll take you through the stories that made headlines for this week, and then we'll look at the various angles as reported by our colleagues across the country with regards to news. Stay with us, we'll be right back. So you're welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. So what stories made headlines this week? The first has to do with the Ridge Hospital saga. I'm bringing you the latest around that story, how the latest on that story was captured by various media outlets. So I'll start with Graphic Online. They say Ridge Hospital nurse assault case committee report rules out fractures, exposes security gaps. 3news.com says Ridge Hospital assault investigative committee discovers extreme shortage in nursing staff at emergency ward. Then myjoyonline.com says nurse in Ridge Hospital assault saga suffered no fracture or shoulder dislocation, probe reveals. So those are some of the angles around that developing story. We'll move away from that. We'll take you to Akwetia because the by-election is in a few days, on the 2nd of September. That's next Tuesday, and the momentum is building in that constituency. So what's the latest there? Let me take you to the Informer. They capture it this way. APP sues EC over Akwetia by-elections, cites maladministration. Daily Guide says Akwetia by-election, NPP unhappy with security. Then citynewsroom.com says Akwetia by-election, violence begets violence, Bande warns. So those are some stories around the Akwetia by-elections. We'll still stay with politics. We'll take you to the camp of the MPP because flag-bearer hopefuls for the party have been picking up forms to run or contest the flag-bearer race. So we'll start with Daily Graphic on how they captured that story. And NPP flag-bearer race, Kennedy Japan, Brian Echampo submit nomination forms. Ghanaian Times, I come to unite, build and lead, says Brian Echampo. The Chronicle says Bawumia will win if primary were held today, says Fred Owari. And finally, on the MPP primaries, citynewsroom.com, NPP shamelessly projecting Bawumia as establishment choice, Kennedy Japan campaign. So those are some stories around the NPP race. So far, 5 people have submitted their forms to contest for that election. We'll wrap up with some story around health, which is a problem one having to do with rising cases of typhoid in the Oti region. Was the latest to that. The Ghanaian publisher says Oti records over 10,000 typhoid cases since January. GraphicOnline.com, typhoid fever outbreak in Oti region. GHS deploy rapid response team. Channel 1 News Online, typhoid surge, remain calm and follow expert advice, GHS urges public. And then myjoyonline.com, Karachi East residents appeal for hospital amid typhoid surge in Oti region. So those are some of the big stories for the week. We'll come back in a bit and look at the angles. Stay with us.
No matter how far you run away, you always come back to where you started.
Tortured, mutilated, fingers cut off.
I can lend you the money. My boss believes in giving players another chance.
You don't know what to do if you don't have the money to pay back. Come and listen to me.
Sir, it's done.
Good.
1 week, that's all you got to pay up.
You've been gambling.
Unfortunately, we're still chasing shadows. He's clearing the board to make way for something bigger.
How could you do this to us, God?
Who's there? I can fix this.
Looking for a one-stop shopping destination for all things made in Ghana? Eager to experience a remarkable fair that showcases the richness, creativity, and innovation behind Ghanaian products and services? Then get ready for the This is Ghana Exhibition 2025. The This is Ghana Exhibition highlights the brilliance of Ghanaian entrepreneurs, artisans, and businesses who continue to shape the narrative of homegrown excellence. This is Ghana's biggest trade fair and exhibition, bringing together SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing sectors, indigenous corporate bodies, and local creatives in one exciting space. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025. Come explore, engage, and be inspired by the businesses and brands that are redefining Made in Ghana across every sector. Get ready to be thrilled by live performances from Kwampa and the electrifying Inchin Band, adding music, rhythm, and culture to the celebration. celebration. The dates, Saturday the 6th and Sunday the 7th of September 2025. Time is 10 a.m. through to 5 p.m. each day. The venue is the A4 Sutherland Children's Park. For enquiries or participation details, call us on 0205-973-973. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 City FM and is proudly sponsored by MTN, Ecobank, Side Hustle by EK Brand Consult, Ghana Enterprises Agency, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Ghana Exim Bank, and AVV Rise, and is supported by Twillium Industrial Company Limited and Built Financial Technologies.
Welcome. It's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, Play to Aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
So welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Vivian Kai Loko. We'll go straight to our discussion now. In the studio, I have Selim Adonu. He's here with us at Channel 1 TV as well as City 97.3 FM. Selim, welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
And then I also have Samiri Afi also here with us at Channel 1 TV and City 97.3 FM. So we'll start with the issue to do with Ridge Hospital. A lot has happened since that attack on hospital staff happened, and allegations of delay in offering service to patients over there. So let me take you through the latest to that story. The committee that was set up to probe the incident finished its work, presented its report to the minister early this week. Let's first take comments from the chairman of the committee, and then we'll take that of the minister, and then I'll pick the thoughts of Selim and Sami on this matter.
The video's evidence of verbal or word altercation between one Mr. Raff, his colleagues, and the staff members of the hospital. We are yet to receive any video evidence or a witness account of an alleged physical attack or altercation. There is, however, documentation in the hospital health information management system that alleged victim, that is Miss Rejoice Tutu Bote, who is a rotation nurse, reported her injury to the hospital the day after the incident, that's on the 18th, and was further treated. There was no evidence of fracture on her left wrist or dislocation of her right shoulder, joint as documented by the medical records. She was, however, had been treated at the time we visited. Had been given some pain relief, he has been recommended for a bed rest, and also has received psychological support care.
We have done this because we assure the good people of this country that when the committee completes its work, we'll make the findings of the committee available to the public. At this point, we have done that, and I can assure the public that we'll see to the full implementation of the recommendations. And I can hear far-reaching recommendations even going beyond Ridge Hospital. In fact, the truth of the matter is that the very day we visited the hospital, which of course I was accused of greeting somebody. That very day, I gave that instruction that they should look at the internal security. And I had the opportunity to also speak to the police. So some of these things have already started.
So that's the Health Minister, Akwabena Mintakonda, over there. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. Let me start with you, Selom. You are the legal guy. A lot of discussions have arisen from the committee's work. We'll start with the nurse in question over the allegations she made and the report of the committee on those allegations. And we'll look at those who attended the committee meetings, what they said, what was deduced from that, and then the way forward in terms of the system and what we'll do to correct the structures that we have currently and all that. But before you go into those details, your general impression about the report, the highlights that we've seen given to us in the public domain.
Well, yeah, thanks, Vivian. Well, generally, I think that the report did what it had to do, or the committee did what it had to do in respect of their terms of reference. Some of the conclusions reached by the report or the committee were things we mentioned here last week, that there were gaps in the narratives, in the stories as put forward by various people. But I think what I'm beginning to realize or picking up is that it does appear they have vested interest in this matter. And I don't understand why the nurses will be up in arms against the minister who thought he was getting to the scene to assist. And what I feel, what I hear around is a certain dispute around the committee's report. I don't think, yes, you have a right to disagree with aspects of the committee's report, but a lot of the things we are dealing with are facts. So if there are facts, I mean, you can have your own opinion, but facts are facts. So I think we should look at the report, or the committee's report, in that light. The committee had terms of reference, about 4 of them, and the first one had to do with to investigate the circumstances that led to the alleged delay in providing care to the patient brought under emergency. We must acknowledge that a lot of the problems were sparked because the gentleman in question, Ralph, said that the people were delaying, they were not quick enough in dealing with the circumstances or the case or the emergency situation they had at hand. And so that was key, and it was a major factor in the report. And also the events and factors that escalated into an alleged assault of a health professional. And alleged there is important because, I mean, it's an alleged assault. The state of security at the hospital at the time of the incident, that is also there. And then the number of nurses and doctors who were on duty at the time of the incident. These essentially were the terms of reference of the committee. So the committee was inaugurated on the, I think on the 20th, and they began work immediately, and they submitted their report within time. The methodology they used was essentially speaking to the people at the event or at the place, checking records, etc., and interviewing people who mattered in the situation. The findings, I mean, the findings of the committee, one, I mean, some of the findings were the general things we've known and the general things we expected. So, for example, in respect of the circumstances that led to the delay in providing care to the patient brought under emergency, the committee found that there was no delay in attending to the person. There was no delay in attending to the person. When you look at the Ministry of Health's guideline for attending to emergency accident and emergency cases, they've categorized the cases into 3. They have red, they have orange, they have yellow, and in fact they have green. So at any point in time, the persons on duty will have to categorize or class the patients that come into these areas. So if it is red, you have to deal with the situation immediately. Often involving head injuries, etc. If it is orange, you can deal with that in 10 minutes or within 10 minutes, the person must be seen. Yellow, and it goes on and on. If it's green, I mean, it's not really an emergency. So you see the person, and then now you deal with the person as an OPD, situation. In the instant case, the gentleman was seen, but the unfortunate thing was that all the diagnostic imaging equipment there were faulty. They were not working. X-ray wasn't working. CT scans were not working. MRIs were not working. Nothing was working. So even though the gentleman was seen, the report says that they were now awaiting further diagnostic images to be able to ascertain the extent of the issue. So if they have done what they have to do, there's nothing more they can do. They will have to wait for the next report or the next diagnostic tool or image to come, based on which they will know the next step to take. Those things were not working at the Ridge Hospital, and that's an issue. All of those were not working at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Ridge. So they had to go outside the hospital, maybe somewhere around Osu or wherever, to get those done. That obviously will delay the process.
The whole process.
So the report is trying to say that if there was any delay at all, the delay was not caused by the people. And there was even no delay in attending to the person. Once a person is brought, you attend to the person based on the triage, categorization they've given. So attend to the person immediately. What is the next step? The next step now is to look at the images. You don't have the images, you don't have the machines or the facilities to deliver the images. Now the person has to be put aside, maybe being watched, put aside, whilst the images are being worked on, or the person sent to
somewhere else to get them done,
and all of that. So that was key. It was also, so the gentleman who came as a result of the bike injury is the one we are talking about. Now the circumstances that led to the alleged assault of the health professional, the committee said they did not find any evidence of any assault or battery, to be more technical, of the person in question. And I think we did say here last week that in this age and era where everything is videoed, including the minister's handshake with the rap, the gentleman in question, there was no evidence really of a mob attacking and beating the nurse in question. There was CCTV images, footage about some altercation or some gentleman pacing up and down, the guy in question, screaming and shouting at people and all of that. That was wrong. But that is very different from the situation we are talking about, where we said that a mob, the gentleman called in a mob who attacked the lady and beat her to pulp, to the extent that the lady had a dislocated shoulder. The committee said they didn't see anything like that. And the committee said the videos they reviewed didn't show anything like that. And their interviews with persons, at the scene also failed to reveal anything of that nature. That is the crux of the issue. And that is where opinions are being divided. The committee met about 13 or more people, spoke to them, reviewed videos, but they did not see anything like that. And what is even instructive is that the lady who claimed to have been assaulted or beaten to the point of having a dislocated shoulder only reported the thing the day after the incident.
Maybe she was so traumatized.
And that's curious. No, if I don't know, but if you've been beaten, you've been so beaten that you have dislocated shoulder and all of that, you are in the hospital. Do you go home and come back the following day before you come and report? That is curious for me. In fact, if the way they've described it, that she was beaten to pulp, you can't even do anything. You will be admitted immediately because you have a dislocated arm. And you don't go home before you determine or know that you've had a dislocated arm. It's something you feel immediately. And your arm will swell because the arm, the shoulder is dislocated. You don't go home and come back the following day to come and then report it. That is a gap in her story. And that gap, the committee was not able to resolve. So the committee's resolution of it was that there was no evidence of any such assault. And we made a point here that we were not there. But in this day and age that everything is videoed, including the minister's handshake with Raf, this alleged mob beating a nurse found no place on anybody's camera. And there were nurses and people around. And we've not, so that is a gap for me in the story.
Okay.
So yeah, it does appear that the Nurses Association is not agreeing with the committee in this respect.
They are not happy with it, and they've given reasons. For example, with the issue about the assault, I watched the nurse on Point of View with Sami explaining that the medical term around the dislocation of the shoulder. There are traces of it in the report. And I also went ahead to question why the committee didn't speak with the doctor,
the medical doctor
that
who
gave the first aid to the lady and just use the hospital records and all that. So let me bring in Sami in there, and then I'll come back to you. So Sami, you had a straight face while Selam was speaking on the issue. I mean, your impressions about the findings of the report. You can start from any of the 4 points.
Well, after reading it and listening to people, there are two sides here. Is either disappointment or vindication, depending on where you stand.
Okay.
Disappointment because the nursing fraternity and people who thought their colleague was assaulted were expecting a different report that will confirm their suspicion that their colleague was assaulted. Vindication on the side of persons who also believe that Ralph and his team did no wrong. They went to the hospital to go and seek medical care for whoever was injured. So depending on where you stand, is it a disappointment for you or vindication? I've heard the nurses say that they have issues with the report because they believe that there are certain critical people who should have been interviewed or lined up for interview in respect of this particular matter, which you mentioned earlier, the medical doctor who was involved or providing first aid in the first place when this particular incident, occurred. The Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the association came along with a report, a medical report, on point of view of Wednesday, which is yesterday, and showed that indeed this was a medical report from the doctor who first attended to the lady when the incident occurred. But then she was never invited to be a part of the investigation. But Tony Goodman, who was a member of the committee or is a member of the committee and speaks for the health minister, disputed that claim that everybody was interviewed,
including that doctor.
But then the nurse on the show also asked that then if you interviewed her, why is her name or his name not on the list of people you interviewed? Yeah. And so it's more or less your word against my word. And so whatever the gentleman is saying, whatever Tony Goodman is also saying, different from the entire report itself.
But the committee itself, I'll let you continue, but just to clear, the committee itself has a doctor on it.
Yes, the chairman, I think Dr. Lawrence Lawson also.
So if
is a medical doctor.
Yes, so he can look at a medical report and
as to whether the medical report the gentleman who appeared on Point of View was shown to the committee, I do not know.
There were 6 doctors on the committee.
Yes, good.
6 doctors on the committee. No, I mean there were 6 doctors spoken to.
Okay,
there were 6 doctors
committee.
spoken to. Yes, and there were 2 doctors on the committee.
Good.
Dr. Lawrence Uforibuedu and Dr. Ebenezer Odro Mensah, who was a co-opted member and who acted as secretary.
As secretary, yes.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm asking that because, and you guys can chip in, if they have the reports from when the lady was taken care of in terms of first aid and all that, they can interpret it and give us the medical, findings of that without necessarily saying they are clueless about that, because this is their profession.
Well, that was the same question I asked the gentleman, that if indeed is that the case, does it mean that they were sidelined, or the association even itself? Because the lady in question is a member of the association.
Yeah.
Did the committee speak to any of the association members? He said no.
They don't have to. What role would they
play? Yes. But then their main issue of contention or their beef is that why was the medical doctor who treated the lady at the first instance was not spoken to? Okay. And that issue is being disputed by Tony Goodman, who is a member of the committee. Now, I feel that because of the public, engagement about this issue, I'm hoping that a further committee.
Again?
Let me make my point. Okay. Now, as disappointment and vindication, depending on where you stand. The nurses are unhappy with the outcome of this report. Yes. For them, their colleague was assaulted. Their colleague was beaten, because they feel that their colleague will not just get up and go and put bandage on her hand and then the neck if there's nothing really wrong with her.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Tony Goodman, when the lady was interviewed, they interviewed her from the hospital, the emergency room of the hospital when she was on admission.
Yeah.
Now you interview somebody in the hospital. Is it just nice or out of rest that somebody goes to the hospital and say, I am resting there? You go to the hospital because you're unwell. There's something wrong with you. Now, if you're interviewing somebody at the hospital and she claims that she is not well and she's there because of this incident, at least it should give you an indication that something like this went on.
So you finish your diagnosis and find out whether it happened or not.
Chairman, let me make my point.
Not really.
No, you see, it's not to say that whatever, but somebody can feign sickness and after diagnosis.
It's unfortunate that we have to
go back and forth on
we
this.
have to say it the way we are saying it. Because, so I mean, if I tell you that my wrist is paining me, and then you touch Adish, there's nothing happening, but when you touch Adish, I am telling you it's paining me. Whether it's paining me or not, I know. And so if it's not true that it's paining me, but I'm doing everything to show that it's paining me, I go to the hospital, they touch Adish, and I'm behaving in a manner that will require me to be admitted, even given the circumstances. You can't say my mere admission is confirmation of the fact that something happened.
Yeah.
So I asked Tony Goodman, does it mean the lady in question is faking or she's lying? And he said that he's not in a position to determine.
Well,
and then I professed that if we are a committee, you should know whether it's I mean,
they were clear. I mean, some of the thing of, like Selim said earlier, beaten to the pulp, dislocation of did not happen based on the medical, outcome.
So does it mean the hospital put her on admission to deceive the public?
Well, if you go to the emergency and say A, B, C, D has happened to you, they will admit you and then now take care of you and know what is really happening to you.
So the nurses at the hospital was aiding her to deceive the public.
No, she came in with A, B, C, D. She was taken care or looked after. After which, whatever happened to her was admitted to the committee, and they said A and B didn't happen. B and C happened. That's it.
Well, Vivian, for me,
so if you want to say she was faking it, is that what you want to say?
I don't know. I don't know.
Look at this.
And I'm not in a position to determine whether she was faking it or is real. I do not know.
Look at what. Yes, we all do not know.
We know. Yes.
But we have the benefit of circumstantial evidence. We have the benefit of some information, facts. We can piece together to come to a certain conclusion. We are all not there. The people there, they will not talk, or maybe they are not talking, or they've spoken. But what we have is the facts.
And the committee's reports.
Apart from that, we are quote unquote intelligent people, and when things happen, we are able to put two and two together and make a conclusion. We said there last week, before the committee started work, that is it not strange that such a thing happened and nobody could video it? Number two, were there people around? Have they spoken? The committee spoke to a lot of people, but nobody's been able to corroborate that story. And
it's
strange.
In the report that the committee said they spoke to her colleagues, and none of them could corroborate that.
And the other curious point is that, which I said earlier, you were beaten to pulp. You managed to gather yourself. You went home, and you came home. You came back to the hospital the following day to say that you have a dislocated arm. If you are beaten, in fact, if you are beaten somewhere, the place will rush you is a hospital. But fortunately for you, you were in the hospital. You were beaten in the hospital. It's a bad thing to be beaten, but I mean, pardon my language. Fortunately for you, you were beaten in the hospital. So you didn't even have to go home before you'll be brought back or you bring yourself back. You should have been admitted the very time you were beaten. That's my point. Look, and she's in court. She's in court against Ralph on two things. Seeking damages for assault and also defamation. That Ralph defamed her by saying that her story was not true and all of that. Look at the way she put the matter. Before they said the defendant, who is Ralph, and his followers, the people
the bikers,
he called in to come and beat her. The defendant and his followers, who were well-built men, escalated the attack. They escalated the attack and pounced on the plaintiff, the nurse, and brutally beat her to pulp from behind and all over her body.
Wow.
This was happening.
This is a court document.
No, this is her case in court.
Yes.
They beat her to pop. They beat her from behind. The men, not just Rafu, only Rafu, the men they called, the bikers. We've seen bikers, well built. They pounced on her.
You can exaggerate.
No, it's a document. Let me read it again.
Solomon is other like
No, look at it. It said,
no, Solomon.
Look at paragraph 6.
I agree with the court document and everything. I'm not defending or holding brief for her.
No.
I'm only expecting the committee to go further.
No, I'm saying that.
That's all I'm only asking the committee to.
See, the committee cannot say the lady is lying. There's language. They've put the facts out there.
It should be clear.
No, that the lady is lying.
The committee was tasked. The committee was tasked to investigate an issue.
Yes.
You read out the terms of reference for the committee.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there was an assault. Mm-hmm. The committee must establish if indeed there was an assault.
And they said they found no evidence. The name of the game is evidence. They found no evidence.
Which sort of assault?
And
we've been made to understand there are 3 forms of assault. The verbal, the physical, and the psychological aspect of it. Did the committee make mention of any of these 3? It only said that there was no assault.
But from day one, the assault was at the beating.
I'm surprised
from day one, not verbal.
Wait. We are not talking about verbal assault. We are not talking about psychological.
Yeah.
We are talking about physical.
From day one,
we are talking about dislocation. The dislocation is not spiritual or it's not verbal.
Verbal or psychological.
Dislocation. And the nurse, Jefferson, said, is it polycontusion he called it? Yes. Bruises on the body. Yes. These are physical signs. Yes. So the issue about 3 types of assault is a red herring. It shouldn't even come up at all in the discussion. We are talking about physical assault. In fact, technically, we call it battery. We are talking about battery. That she was battered, she was beaten, she was pounced upon by the mob and beaten to pulp from behind. They pounced on her. This is what we are talking about. So all of these things should not even give you should not even make you think of psychological or verbal assault. No. There could be verbal assault. There could be psychological assault.
Which there was, verbal.
That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about physical assault. That is the bone of contention. And you had physical assault, you claim dislocated shoulder and a lot of things, and you go home and come back the following day. That's an afterthought. It was an afterthought. She then came and then she was admitted. And then the sling and all of that. But the people, and you see, the nurse you spoke to is a good guy. But he should take his time. They spoke to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 doctors who are emergency doctors. They are principal nursing officers and all of these people. So they say they didn't speak to anybody from the association. I don't understand. The principal nursing officers and co. Are they not members of the Ghana Registered Nursing and Midwives Association? You mean the executives? But why should they talk to executives? They are unionists. Why should they go and talk to unionists when a matter like this is happening? They have no role to play in this. What they have to do was to raise the issues they've raised. Why would they? They were not there to. They spoke to doctors and the nurse. What is he talking? What is he talking? No, they are not the creme de la creme
I'm trying to
of the
figure out
profession.
why they want.
There are other interests in this matter. They are not the creme de la creme of the profession. No. What is their qualification? What is their rank? They spoke to principal nursing officers. They spoke to people. They spoke to people and nursing officers, emergency ambulance. Those people who were involved. They spoke to all of them. And then, is it telling us, or are you telling us that the committee with doctors and health people on it, policy people on it, will do this investigation without calling for the ladies' folder? And if the gentleman who spoke to you, Jefferson, was on my show on Saturday as well, he said that he has another report, doctor's report, that the lady has something else and the doctor didn't see it. Who do you, on the balance of probability, who do you believe? The man who is showing something we don't even know about, or the committee constituted in the full glare of the public, whose work can be criticized, and whose work could be basis for a lot of things? I will err on the side of caution, and I will go with the committee's report. Not somebody who is showing something I can't even verify, I can't vouch for. And nothing of that nature has come up. Nothing of his things came up. The doctors, the committee called for the folder. They reviewed the folder. They reviewed videos. Yeah. They spoke to people who were at the scene. And they concluded that they found no evidence of assault. What else should we say? They were to do a fact finding. They said they found no such thing. So if you don't find the thing, then it means the thing perhaps was not there. And that is it. Has the lady been discharged? If you have a dislocated arm, there are things they do to you. Okay? Were those things done to her?
I don't know.
No, you appear to have information.
No, I told you earlier, I'm not defending her. I'm not. I'm basing my argument based on what the guy who came on my show was saying. So that's what I'm basing my argument and what I have read from the report. And that's what I'm basing my argument on. Whether she's discharged, she's still on admission, whether she's home, that I do not know.
Yes,
but in moving forward, my point I made is that I feel that the committee must go a step further. What happens to the issue of privacy? That people go to hospitals and they are beginning to video, do Facebook Live and TikTok Live and the rest. Is that what is expected in public hospitals? Because these are the videos that we've seen. These are videos taken from the hospital.
The report we have seen, because there's a more detailed report.
Yes.
What we've seen hasn't made any pronouncement on the videoing. So that's one of the reasons why you wanted to go further.
Yes.
But we don't know whether
it's in the larger report. That I do not know. But if that is part of the recommendations by the committee, I feel they should make that side also public. So at least
there are terms of reference.
We'll come to that.
There are terms of reference.
Let him laugh because I don't want him to think.
I'm sorry. We have to be careful in this country.
It looks like
we have to be careful in this country.
Sarah doesn't want me. The committee has terms of reference.
Yes.
But I'm saying that I feel the committee should go a step further.
They should go outside of their limits.
I'm not saying they should go outside the limit of it. They had a clear objective. Do A, B, C, D. I'm saying that there should be another committee that may recommend broader things that in future we may not have such occurrences. Apart from the security recommendation, increasing the number of staff and the rest, the issue I've raised about the video and the privacy in hospitals must also be included in a bigger committee.
Not a fact, a rule that privacy. You can't go to the hospital.
But the video that we have seen are videos taken in the hospital. When people were on admission on their sick beds, and people were taking videos of them. The trauma is one of them. Someone invading somebody's privacy. When we go to hospital and going to visit people, we see how they are lying down, and then someone is taking video.
I agree with you, but I think that may be in the detailed one and will go under security.
The security. There was a breach of the security that was weak.
Yeah.
If there was proper security, you will not be shouting there in the first place.
And you can't be filming.
They will contain you. You will not be filming there. So it's a security. They don't need, once they've made a point about security, they don't have to go further to say the rest of the things. The security was poor. They said there was one private security per 12-hour shift, and that was all they had. Now they are recommending that police will join the people in the emergency unit. I have issues with that though.
The police will be there
24/7. I mean that's a knee-jerk thing we do in this country. So now from now onwards till eternity, there will be a policeman every time in the emergency. We are not. I don't understand. That's what we will do. Anyway,
guys, I have to take.
That's what we do to prevent such things from happening in public hospitals.
But you have practiced in the fraternity based on when I come back, what is done outside in terms of emergency? I don't remember seeing police officers.
People think that I'm a nurse or a doctor. I'm not.
So I'll take a quick break. When I come back, I'll take your final thoughts on this and then some of the recommendations made and the way forward on that. This is what the papers are saying. I am Vivian Kai Loko here with Solomon Duna as well as Sami Wiafi. We're looking at the big stories for the week. We'll take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
No matter how far you run away, you always come back to where you started.
All time for Top Guns.
Tortured, mutilated, fingers cut off.
They'll lend you the money. My boss believes in giving players another chance.
You don't know what to do if you don't have the money to pay back. Come and listen to me.
Sir, it's done.
Good. 1 week. That is all you got to pay up.
You've been gambling.
Unfortunately, we're still chasing shadows. He's clearing the board to make way for something bigger.
How could you do this to us, God?
Who's there?
I gotta fix this.
You're welcome back to What the Papers Are Saying. I am here with Seloma Donu as well as Sami Wiafi. I am Vivian Kailoko. So, gentlemen, I'll take your final thoughts. But the recommendations by the committee, any ones that we should look at, or everything sits well? You are not happy with the extent.
The retooling is very necessary, because one of the terms of reference was to find out if emergency service was, done on time, was delayed. Yeah. And it was delayed because they didn't have the MRI, the X-ray.
It was not delayed.
It wasn't available.
The MRI
it wasn't available.
It was attended to. There was no delay in
because
attending
it wasn't available at the premises.
So the next point was where there was the delay.
Sure, it wasn't available within the premises. The retooling should come in at this time, because I read a report by the UNDP that says that for the past 14 years, we've not seen any major routine in Ghana's public hospitals, which is worrying, very worrying. In our big hospitals, you go there for scans, we are told that, some no day here, go to the other side.
That Ridge Hospital, the emergency side, is a bit problematic, because this is the renovations and that part.
The renovation happened over 8 years ago. And the machines are used every day. The bigger problem.
It's not only Ridge Hospital. Yes. Looks like the major public, Kolebu, Konfanochi. Remember, a doctor at Konfanochi died not too long ago because there wasn't some scanner supposed to scan his brain or something. Yeah. So it's a challenge within major public hospitals. I've heard doctors in the Tamale teaching hospital also cry day and night about lack of equipment to work with. And so if we don't have these equipment to aid the work of the health professionals in there, we'll get people frustrated day in, day out, assaulting or
many of
these public health workers. So we should consider the retooling. It's very, very important. We should consider retooling of our major hospitals in this country.
Well, I will not call it retooling. Retooling is important, but maintenance. Yeah. You can retool and it will run it down, it will spoil it, or it will spoil and nobody will care. So it is maintenance. Ridge Hospital, for example, it's new, like you were saying. I'm sure all those machines were there up to a certain point. They were not properly maintained. They were not taken care of properly. And so they spoiled. And once they got spoiled, now doctors will be referring you to other private facilities. And there are allegations.
There's always
abound that there are interests in those. There are times we understand people give vacations to people. The more people you refer to this and all of that, and some have private facilities like that. So those are interests. Okay, those are interests. And also, they run, the machines run down. They take money for all of those things. When you want to do MRI, they'll take money. The money may not be as much as they will take in a private facility, but they will take money anyway. What happens to those monies they take? The monies go into other things. We need to be a bit strict on how monies from such critical equipment are used. Can we have a fund? So, for example, maybe 20% of money from all MRI things in the hospital will go into this fund, which will be for the maintenance of the machinery. Because if it spoils, you'll not get the money again. But what do we see? And it's a hard truth. Our health people in the hospitals sometimes are more interested in their allowances, etc. So when they get IGF, instead of them to channel some of their IGF towards the maintenance of those equipment and facilities, they deal with their allowances first, because the maintenance of the facilities is government that will do it. And once you say government will do it, government has, government will not do it on time. Government may want to do it, but it will never happen on time. What happened to the IGF? They take money at the facilities. Can't we have an arrangement where a fund is set up, where a certain percentage of all the IGF will go into it for the maintenance of such critical facilities. Like you said, it's not just in Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Ridge. It happens everywhere. Every public hospital. Why doesn't it happen often in serious private hospitals? Why? Is it not? Are they not the same Ghanaians? Yeah. It is the attitude, the mentality that with this for Aban. So why is for Aban? You must run it down. You chop the money and you leave it because you don't care. When the patients come, you shout at them, you scream at them because they've come to a government hospital. It is wrong. The same people go and do locum at private facilities. In fact, some of them own their private facilities. They don't run it like that. Why do you run the thing that belongs to us that way? But yours, you want to run a certain way. It is the attitude that must change. So let's find a way of maintaining the facilities, and let's find a way of also changing attitudes. We can't continue like this. I recall a number of years ago, there was this no bed syndrome. Some old man was moved around 7 or so hospitals, and he eventually died.
Yeah.
It was as if nothing had happened in this country like that before. Everybody was talking about it for weeks. Where is that matter? Have we resolved it? No. We've moved on to the next one. This one, we've talked about it. By next week, it dies off. And the same problem will occur another time. And this one was high profile because of the persons involved. The minister was there. There was live streaming. The gentleman, the Ralph guy here is an advocate or social media activist. So it gained traction and it happened in Accra. These things happen every day in other parts of the country, but the persons involved are not high profile, so we don't hear them. And they suffer in silence. Let's do the right things. Let's do the right things, else we are going nowhere.
Okay. All right. We'll move to the next issue. Let's do a bit of politics, a bit of Akwitia. We have about some 8 minutes, a bit of Akwitia. And then the MPP, we see 5 people filing nominations to run for the position of flag bearer. I'll quickly pick some videos from 3 or 4 of some of the key personalities who have filed nominations to run. We'll start with Dr. Baumia, then we'll go to Kennedy, and then Brian Echampo.
Hands have a saying that Openi Due Mate Mate. To wit, a wise leader must at times appear aloof, yet when it is required, be willing to take the difficult decisions. That is who I am. I am cool on the outside, but do not underestimate my inner resolve. That is what I bring to the leadership of the MPP and the leadership.
Wherever you go, market. Ghanaians are crying for Canada, Japan to lead this country. So don't listen to anybody who will come and intimidate you because of his own selfishness. And therefore we need to come together without intimidation and make sure we select a candidate.
The NPP has a job to do in government. I shall win power and continue with that job. I shall focus on jobs, food security, and infrastructure. For security, you know that's my turf. Today, having now submitted my form to run as flag bearer of the MPP, it effectively means that I have submitted my declaration for unity.
I'm going to wage a very clean campaign. A campaign that will just talk about what I have done and what I will do for my party and for my nation. A campaign without acrimony. A campaign without insults. A campaign full of respect. And that is what my campaign will be about. Why do you tell me I'm so bad? Adutum is respectful. Adutum is calm. Adutum is a doer. Adutum is not a taker.
Well, so those are some of the gentlemen who will be running for the MPP's flag bearer race. So interesting statements coming from all of them. Everybody appears to see themselves as winners at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what it should be. I mean, everybody will talk up their chances, but of course, the race is defined. I won't mention who will win, but it appears the race is already defined. And for some of them fighting, they are not fighting for this particular slot. They are fighting for the future. And well, we wish that they would do this without the insults and all of that, so that we have a formidable opposition to the current government. Opposition shapes government well, because if government knows that there's a formidable opposition that can take over from them, they are careful. And that's what we want. So we wish them well. We hope that the contest is fair. It's a pity that Dynamo is not running as well.
Well, he says the party is not being
But he
fair.
never made an indication that he was going to run. He never picked up from.
No,
well,
but
it was expected that he was
it was at the point of picking up forms that he issued a statement that he was not going to run, because people were expecting him to pick forms, because I think this would have been his third time or so. And he made quite some points that it does appear that the race was being prepared for somebody to win. He was not in agreement with the nature of the race, of the contest, the top-down approach, which is unknown, according to him, to the party, etc. So I think that they have issues. And we will hope that after the contest, they will rally around and form a formidable opposition, and we'll see how it will go.
So, I mean, you have covered the party for some time, and these concerns that are being raised, I even saw one today about one of the opponents complaining that they are using the handles of the social media handles of the party to promote one of the,
It was an accusation from the camp of Kennedy Japan. That's the party's official Facebook was streaming the Baumia filing live, and they feel as one of the ways of helping, the system helping Dr. Baumia to be elected again as a flag bearer. As to whether that is true, I don't know. I have not gone to really verify it. So it's an allegation they are making. I'm sure the party will come and respond.
But it's an allegation which is easily verifiable.
Yeah, so I'm sure maybe at the right time, at the right time, the party may come out and come and issue a statement or speak or speak
but
to it. But
what would be their position if that's true?
Well, it will go to confirm what the opponents have said all along, that the system is skewed towards helping Dr. Baumia win again to lead the MPP into the next election. If you remember, yesterday when Kennedy filed his nomination, during his presentation, it was one of the comments that he made that there are some constituency executives are intimidating delegates to vote a certain line, and that delegates should avoid all forms of intimidation and vote for the right person who can lead the party to victory in the 2028 general election. I've always said that the MPP internal elections are always deadly than the national election, because a lot of the missiles opponents use against the MPP always come from the internal election. Dates back from 2007, the Legon Congress, 2012, and the rest. So the internal elections of the MPP has always become a deadly tool.
We saw it in 90 prior to the 96 election, the conference that led to the election of J. Kufuor. We saw what happened to Kwame Pieniem and versus
so it predates,
and all of those things.
It's always been a deadly election when it comes to the MPP and its internal one. So the concern or the call for the MPP to maintain a cool-headed campaign of issues, not campaign of insults. If you listen to all the aspirants, it ran through their message that the campaign will be decent, the campaign will be devoid of insult, the campaign will focus on the real issues on the ground. We are just hoping and praying that they will go according to what they've said, because in the last primaries, we saw the kind of things that were said, to the extent that the NDC even used some of these utterances in their campaign. I'm just hoping that the party leadership will be firm and ensure that the campaign is issues-based. It doesn't attack personality, which has always been a part of the MPP campaign. And as you said, I follow what you said. I wish them all the best, and may the best person win.
All right, gentlemen, it's 10 o'clock. Our time is up. Thank you very much, Selam Adonu and Samiri Afif. And also thank you to you for joining us for another edition. I'm Vivian Kai Loco. We'll see you again some other time. Bye-bye.